What if you stumbled upon a time machine and found yourself unintentionally catapulted into a future where your species no longer exists? This is the story of two creatures called flummels. Think of them as donut-shaped beings with a hole in their bellies. There are two of them: Opus, an energetic and wild female, and Ed, a bit more sensible but often gets into trouble because of his sister. One sunny morning in August 1835, the flummels are celebrating the flower festival on Galapagos Island. There's an opera happening, and they're in a hurry to make it there. They also bring flowers to join in the festivities, but the other flummels don't seem to like them very much. This is because Opus tends to make a mess of things, and the two siblings end up being called the weirdos. After a long wait, Ed finally gets a chance to volunteer in the flower parade. He asks Opus not to ruin this opportunity to make friends. At first, Opus disagrees with being the troublemaker, but Ed reminds her of all the times she caused trouble and made them outcasts. An announcement captures everyone's attention. The most famous flummel, Jepson, is there. He boasts about his intelligence and invites everyone to join him in the flower parade to the hill. Suddenly, a tree falls out of nowhere, and it's Ed and Opus trying to climb it but ending up breaking it instead. The other flummels get angry and punish the two siblings by making them work at the beach. While at the beach, they accidentally signal a passing whale, thinking it's their friend. Opus tries to stop the whale, but it might be too late. The whale comes over with a huge wave, causing chaos. The flower statue they were supposed to protect gets washed away. Jepson loses his temper and bans Ed and Opus from the flower festival forever. They are also sent to the Desolation Stone to repent for their mistakes. Opus can't sit quietly and quickly comes up with a new plan. They climb the forbidden cliff to find the rarest flowers that might earn their forgiveness. Opus makes a beautiful bouquet and is ready to join the festival. However, she spots something extraordinary, a massive pink flower. Ed tries to warn her, but Opus is determined to get it. She ties herself to a rope and descends toward the flower, but the flower opens up, emitting colorful light rays. Suddenly, it starts pulling them towards it. They try to save Opus, but the rope breaks and both siblings fall into the flower. It transports them to an entirely new place, a room they've never seen before. An old lady enters, but she's nearsighted and doesn't notice them. Ed and Opus escape and find a puppy in another room. The puppy barks, scaring them away. They find themselves in the bustling city of Shanghai. Ed is overwhelmed by the unfamiliar surroundings, but Opus is excited and starts exploring the city. Once Ed and Opus reunite, a little girl spots them and wants to keep them as pets. However, their new friend, Clarence the puppy, comes to their rescue, scaring the girl away. The flummels are relieved to meet Clarence, but then they notice a donut shop nearby. Due to their similar shape, Ed and Opus mistakenly assume that donuts are flummels. This causes some panic, but Clarence knows how to clear up the confusion. Clarence takes them to a museum where models of extinct species are displayed. There's even a statue of flummels there. Clarence plays a video to help Ed and Opus understand what extinct species means. The video tells the story of Charles Darwin, a great discoverer who had found the Galapagos Island. Unfortunately, before he could reach the island, it was destroyed by a volcanic eruption. Darwin found some remains, but no flummel was left alive, and they went extinct forever. This revelation shocks Ed deeply as they realize their entire species died years ago, and they're stuck in the future. Clarence then takes them to the house of his owner, Dr. Lee Chong, who lives with his wife. However, Dr. Lee Chong has been missing for a few months. He was a scientist who discovered a time-traveling flower kept in his living room. Clarence jumps into the flower with Ed and Opus, transporting them to Lee Chong's lab, which houses a time terminal. This place isn't in the past or the future. Dr. Lee Chong has spent years studying time portals and has found seeds to identify each of them. Opus believes this is their chance to save the flummels from extinction and become heroes. However, convincing the flummels to believe them won't be easy. Unfortunately, Opus's clumsiness causes her to mix up different seeds and panic. In her haste to fix things, she accidentally drops the seeds on the switch, causing the terminal to pull everything towards itself. Opus manages to hold onto Ed, but poor Clarence is sent flying to Antarctica. When the flummels regain their senses, they meet 4 rare animals: Dottie the dodo bird, Bernie the Tasmanian tiger, Alma the macarchinia, and Hoss the baby triceratops. Together, the group of rare animals and the flummels call themselves the Extinctables. They sing a song about extinct species and how to avoid being erased by time. At first, they seem friendly, but when they learn about Clarence, they become disappointed. Opus is determined to bring Clarence back, although it seems impossible as he could be stuck anywhere in the past. Nevertheless, Opus is willing to check each of the dropped seeds one by one while visiting each time portal. As they journey through different portals, the Flummels bring relevant objects to help Dottie place the seeds back in their proper places. These adventures are filled with dangers, and they could get stuck anywhere in time. Despite this, Opus enjoys the journey and wants to join the Extinctables. However, Dottie, the leader of the Extinctables, can't allow it. She explains that Li Chong has kept these extinct animals here to protect them from the outside world. During their adventures, Haas the baby Triceratops draws attention to an ice cream truck on its back, and Bernie performs a magic trick using 2 time-traveling flowers that can make objects disappear temporarily. Next, they visit the Great Wall of China, and during a peaceful moment, Ed talks to Opus about making a promise not to take any steps without both of them agreeing on it. Their conversation is interrupted by sudden fireworks, causing a few of them to fly out of the time terminal. Finally, the next portal takes them to where Clarence is. Clarence has kept the Flummels seed safe but needs to break free from his chain. Despite Opus's promise, she takes a careless step, bringing Haas with her. This breaks the chain but also triggers wild dogs to chase them. Opus drops the seed and makes a U-turn to pick it up and return to the terminal, but Haas injures his foot badly. This leads to Ed becoming frustrated with Opus, scolding her for risking others' lives. Those words hurt Opus deeply, but she remains determined to save the world where her brother wants to live. She packs up some evidence and travels back to 1835 alone, where the flower festival is still ongoing. Opus uses a whistle to gather everyone's attention and tells them everything, showing them the proof she collected. Unfortunately, no one believes her. Meanwhile, Ed begins to miss his sister and realizes that Opus is the only loved one he has. He knows he would be alone without her. He decides he needs to help her. Before he can do anything, Clarence arrives, and Opus is glad to see him. However, she doesn't know his real intentions. Clarence uses bombs to block the cave entrance, trapping all the Flummels inside. He also locks Opus up in a tree. Clarence, who appeared cute, is actually pure evil. He was responsible for making the Flummels extinct. Despite being loved by everyone in the modern world, Clarence was jealous of the Flummels and plotted to get rid of them forever. He pushed his owner, Li Chong, into a random time portal and cut off the seeds so Li Chong couldn't return. Clarence then used a bomb to eliminate the entire Flummel species. Now, he wants to do the same thing again. The bomb goes off, and there's only 30 minutes left to save the Flummels home. Fortunately, Ed has come to help. He frees Opus, and their next task is to save the rest of the Flummels. In the meantime, the Extinctables have discovered Clarence's true nature and sent someone to find Li Chong so he can return. Clarence, however, returns to the Flummels along with an ancient Greek monster, a one-eyed creature that intends to eat them. Fortunately, the Extinctables arrive just in time and use an ice cream truck to hit the monster and distract him. The monster, unable to aim accurately due to his single eye, ends up clearing the stones blocking the cave's entrance when he throws the truck in anger. The Flummels escape and express their gratitude to Ed and Opus, but they're running out of time, with only 7 minutes left until the bomb explodes. Jeps entrusts Ed and Opus to guide them, and Opus comes up with a plan. She uses a rope and Haas to create a slide for the Flummels to reach the beach safely. Once there, Ed and Opus will use fireworks to get Charles Darwin's attention toward the island. Everything goes as planned, but a stray firework hits a ship, slowing it down. Additionally, the monster returns to capture the Flummel siblings, but he releases them after hearing how much they love each other. As the timer counts down, Opus decides to use the time-traveling flower to transport all the Flummels to safety. The siblings grab the flower and start running down a cliff, with Clarence hot on their heels. At the edge of the cliff, Opus gives up, but this time it's Ed who acts clumsily. He jumps off and lands on the ice cream truck, which they can use for Bernie's trick to make the island disappear during the explosion. With only a few seconds left, Ed and Opus place the flowers and initiate the experiment, which luckily succeeds. The island reappears in 2021, saving everyone. It's all thanks to Opus's immature yet daring personality. If she hadn't reached the time-traveling flower, their entire species would have been wiped out. Clarence returns but can't execute his plan because Li Chong is back. Li Chong's discovery spreads worldwide, and the Flummels are no longer extinct. They exist everywhere and are loved by all, while Clarence is sent back to Antarctica to repent for his mistakes. The next flower festival arrives, and this time the Flummels create special statues as a tribute to Ed and Opus. Ed also receives a surprise: he has become a father. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more interesting movies.